Okay, we're going to go over story problems here. It says on example 1, a rec center charges non-members $3 for each pool visit and $5 for each basketball court visit. A person visited the rec center 12 times. They paid a total of $42. How many visits did they make to the pool? How many visits did they make to the basketball court? So what I'm figuring out is visits to pool and visits to basketball courts. Okay, so all these problems have 3 units. Okay, you had to pay for 2 things: a pool, the basketball courts, and the dollars. So you're going to make your grid, and you're going to put together how many units per unit and total. Okay, so you're paying for 2 things. Just put pool and basketball courts. Then dollars total, dollars per unit, but this is not dollars on top. So the total cost together is $42. Now find me numbers that have nothing to do with money. 12. But it doesn't specify if that's pool or basketball, and it doesn't say more, so 12 is going here. And when I have the together but not the separate, I have to use 2 different variables, x and y. You could also use p and b. Doesn't really matter the letters, but if you want to stay consistent with x and y, do it. Okay, now the cost per unit, $3 for a pool visit, and then the basketball courts are $5. Okay. So to find the money total for pool, we take the x variable times 3, which should be 3x. Okay. And then the basketball, we take the y variable times 5. Okay. It'd be 5y. So now you have 2 different letters, x and y. So that's one equation. The other equation comes from the top. Okay. So you have to stack 2 equations up when you have 2 different letters in your table. So x plus y equals 12, and then 3x plus 5y equals 42. Okay, and you're using elimination. Obviously nothing's going to, if you add these, you're not going to get 0, so you're going to multiply by 3 and by 1. Okay, so 3 times 1x, that's 3x. 3 times 1y, that's 3y. 3 times 12 is 36. And then the one where I'm just multiplying by 1, that stays the same. 3x plus 5y equals 42. Okay, now I try to add again, but 3 plus 3 is 6. So if you make it negative, then it goes back to 0, which is what I want. And then that's negative and that's negative. So 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2y. 36 plus negative 42 is negative 6. Okay, 0x, you can get rid of that. And then divide by negative 2 on each side. And negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3. Okay. Okay, so 3 basketball court visits. Now, you can put 3 in for y, or you can just take 12 minus 3. You'll get the same answer either way. Okay. Because 12 minus 3 would give me 9, so x would be 9. Or you can write down one of the equations, doesn't matter which one, and 3 goes in for y. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then the letter is not by itself, so we need to minus 3 to get 9. Then you can divide by 1 or just get rid of it. Okay, 9. Solved. Okay, example 2. 2 schools buy helmets and uniforms from a store. The school buys 5 helmets and 7 uniforms for $250. The other school buys 7 helmets and 10 uniforms for $354. Find the cost of a single helmet and the cost of a single uniform. So I need to find the helmet cost and the uniform cost. Okay, so again, all these have 3, all these you'll have to use your grid. because there's 3 units, okay? So together, how many units per unit and total? Okay. Alright, so we got helmets and uniforms. Okay, and then dollars per unit, dollars total. Okay, now there's 2 total dollars amounts, $250 and $354. Okay, so those both go here. You got to read the problem, and it's quite obvious we have 2 total costs together. So every other box needs 2 things. Okay, so 5 helmets. Remember, non-money amounts here. How many? And then 7 uniforms. Then the other one's 7 helmets and 10 uniforms. So we add these. 5 plus 7 is 12. 7 plus 10 is 17. Black that out. Okay, so the helmets, I don't know what helmets cost, but they're both represented with the same letter. Y, yet the uniforms you have to pick a different letter. So Y would be the most logical. Okay, so money total, there needs to be 2 of those, so we take 5 times x and 7 times x. You can put a 1 in front of the x, but it's still 5x and 7x. Okay, and then 7 and 10 both need to be multiplied by y, so 7y and 10y. Okay, and you have 2 equations right there. So we have 5x plus 7y equals 250, and then we have 7x plus 10y equals 354. So make your columns. Okay, obviously we can't add them to 0, so times 7 times 5, and then the rest of this is times by 7, and then times by 5. Okay, 7 times 5x is 35x, and then 7 times 7y is 49y, and then 7 times 250, that's going to be 1750. And the bottom, you're also going to get 35x, that's a point of doing it. And then 10y times 5 is 50y. And then 354 times 5 is going to be 1770. Okay, so add. You have the same right there, but it's only going to add to 0 if one's positive and one's negative. So if you made that negative, you got to make the rest of that equation on that row negative. So that's now 0x. 49 plus negative 50 is negative 1y. And 1750 plus negative 1770 is negative 20. Okay, this x is eliminated. Now you divide by negative 1, and negative 20 divided by negative 1 is 20. Okay. Okay, so your y's are 20. Okay, so you know uniforms cost $20. Now there's no quick way to get the helmets, okay, because you don't have a number here. So you can't just subtract. You can't just take this number minus 20 and get x. So 20 needs to go definitely into one of the 2 original equations. I'm going to use 5x plus 7y equals 250. And then 20 goes in place of the y. So that's 7 times 20, that's 140. So we now have 5x plus 140 equals 250. Now solve for x. You got to get some things out of the x side. Minus 140. That's 110. Then divide by 5. So 110 divided by 5 is 22. And 20. Okay. Example 3. An adult pass for a county fair costs $2 more than a children's pass. When 378 adult and 214 children's passes were sold, the total revenue is $2,384. Find the cost of an adult pass and the cost of a children's pass. So we are finding what they cost. Okay, so set up your grid. So together, then how many units per unit and total. Okay, so the adults and the children, those are your there, and then you got dollars and dollars per unit. You can just abbreviate it if you want with A and C, it doesn't matter. Alright, so the total cost is $2,384. You're only given one total cost together. Now find me the numbers that are not dollar labeled. 378 adult clearly says that. And then 214 children. And to find together, you just add them. 378 plus 214 is 592. Okay. Now, the only thing I have left is 2, but it says 2 more. So I don't need y, okay? So don't need y. So if I'm only going to use x, I just need one equation, okay? Don't need to make the cross. Okay, the adults, $2 more, okay? So plus 2 for adults. What's plus 2? X. And then the reason we don't need y is because I don't put y there. I just put x without the plus 2. That's how I differentiate. But with the plus, I do need to make a parentheses, okay? So to find the adults, we take 378 times the parentheses x plus 2. So you put the 1. So you take 378 times 1x, 378x, and 378 times 2 is 756. So in that box, I have 378x plus 756. And the children's kind of easy. You just take 214 times x. You don't need a parentheses because there's no plus in there. 214x. Now you get by with just one equation. You don't need 2. Okay? If you didn't have to use y, you don't need 2 equations. So 378x plus 756 plus 214x equals 2384. Then I add the x's. You don't take out the smaller one because they're on the same side. So 378x plus 214x is 592x. And plus your 756 equals 2,384. Now that you have just a single x, you got a times and a plus. So you minus 756. Okay. So 2384 minus 756 is 1,628. Then I divide by my 592, and that takes me to my answer for x. So 1628 divided by 592 is 2.75. You want to keep the decimal because you're finding dollars. Okay, so these x's now are 2.75s. Okay, so the adults, I take 2.75 plus 2, that's 4.75. And then the children is just 2.75. So you see how I got the answer without having to use a y variable when I see that more than. Okay, next problem. You're buying an apples and oranges at the store. You buy 4 pounds of apples and 3 pounds of oranges. The oranges cost 25 cents more than the apples. The total cost is $9.78. How much does a single pound of apples and a single pound of oranges actually cost? So cost of apples and cost of oranges. Okay, so table is needed. So together, how many units per unit total? So dollars totals, dollars per unit. Okay. Okay. and then apples and oranges. Okay, total cost together, that's going to be $9.78. Okay, now look for non-money amounts. 4, that's for apples. 3, that's for oranges. And that makes 7. Now again, the only other thing I see in that problem is a 25 cents more. So if I see that that's more, I don't need y, no y. So it'll just be one equation. I don't make that cross. Okay, so the oranges are 25 cents more. Plus, don't put plus 25, you got to get 0.25. So that's going to be x and x. So to find your money total for the apples, you would take 4 and multiply by x. That's 4x. For the oranges, that needs to go in parentheses, okay? So you're taking 3 times x plus 0.25. You got to put that in parentheses when it's got the plus like that. Then you use your rainbow distribution, okay? So 3 times 1x is 3x. 3 times 0.25 is 0.75, okay? So it's 3x plus 0.75. So again, if you see a plus in a box, you need to put a parentheses, okay? So you just need one equation, 4x plus 3x plus 0.75 equals 9.78. And then I just solve for x first, so I combine those because they're on the same side. 7x plus 0.75 equals 9.78. Okay, then I'm going to minus 0.75. Minus that, you get 9.03. Then divide by 7. And 9.03 divided by 7 is 1.29. But that's okay because your answers are dollars. Okay, so go in for your x's and put 1.29 slash amount. So the apples cost $1.29, and the oranges cost $1.29 plus 0.25. And that's going to be 1.54. Okay. Okay, moving along. At a football game, student tickets cost $3 each, adult tickets cost $5 each. The school sold 700 tickets. They made a total of $3,078. How many adult tickets, how many student tickets were sold? So I shouldn't get decimals here because we're finding the how many units of tickets. Okay, so I make my grid. Together, how many units per unit and total. So I know I got money and money because that's a unit. And then I've got student tickets and adult tickets. Again, those are in bold for kind of telegraph purposes. Okay, your money total is $3,078, so 3078. Now find non-money amounts. The only thing you have 700 tickets, but it doesn't say students or adults, so 700 is together. So you need to use y this time. Okay, that's an equation there. Okay. Now find the money amounts. So cost per unit for students. So students cost $3 each. The adults cost $5 each. So we take x times 3. That'd be 3x. Y times 5. You can put a 1 in front of the y, but it's still 5y. So since we have x and y, we need to cross. So x plus y equals 700. And then 3x plus 5y equals 3078. Okay, obviously you're going to have to multiply. So times 3 times 1. So I can get the same thing in front of the x, and then I can make one of them a negative, and then I'll get a 0x out of it. So 3x plus 3y. Then I take 3 times 700. It's 2,100. On the bottom, you're going to get 3x plus 5y equals 3078. Okay, time to add. But that's 6x right now, but if you make it negative, it goes to 0x. Then that becomes negative, and that becomes negative. So 3 plus negative 5 is negative 2y. Get rid of 0x. Then 2,100 plus negative 3078 makes negative 978. And then it's time to divide to find my solution for y. So I take negative 978 divided by negative 2. I got 489. So y is 489. So 489 adult tickets. Now you can write this down, put 489 in for y and so forth, or since you have the total together and you have one of the amounts now, you can subtract to find x, because that's 211. Because 211 plus 489 is 700. Okay, it's a quick way to get it. Okay, next one. You can download songs or albums from a website. One person downloads 5 songs and 3 albums for a total of $32.92. Another person downloads 4 songs and 2 albums for $22.74. Find the cost of a single song and the cost for a single album. So we're finding cost of song and cost of album. So you got songs, albums, and money. So together, how many units per unit in total? Okay, songs and albums are the two things you're buying, then dollars and dollars per unit. Alright, now together the total cost, well there's two total costs, $32.92 and $22.74. Put them in the order they appear in the problem. Otherwise it screws everything up if you don't. Okay, then I see 5 songs and then 3 albums. And then later I see 4 songs and 2 albums. So it's going to make 8 together, and this guy 6 together. I don't really use those, but at least they're filled in. Okay, we don't have any other values. Okay, so the cost per unit for songs, I mean, I'll use the same variable, but then I have to pick a different variable. Why? So I take 5 to find the total money total for the first group of songs, 5 times x, and then 4 times x for the second group. You can put the 1 if you want. It's still 5x and 4x. Is the 1 stupid to put? Well, not stupid, but it's kind of pointless, okay? I don't want to say it's stupid, because if it helps, okay? And then 3 times y and 2 times y. Find each group expression for the money total for albums. So it's going to be 3y and 2y. Okay, so you have 2 equations right there. So you obviously have to make a system. So 5x plus 3y equals 32.92. And then you're going to have 4x plus 2y, 22.74. Okay. They won't add to 0, so you times by 4 and times by 5. Then you'll get 20x and 20x. But then the rest of it needs to be oh shoot, 4, 4, 4, and then times 5 times 5. So 4 times 5x is 20x. 4 times 3y is 12y. 4 times 32.92 gives you 131.68. Okay, then that's 20x. 2y times 5 is 10y. Then 22.74 times 5 is 113.7. Okay. Then you can add. Okay. Now that's 40 when you add, but if we make it negative, then it's 0x. But then 10's negative, and so is the 113.7. Okay. Well, I got the wrong thing here, I think. Okay. No, it's right. Yeah. Okay, that's 2y. Then I take 131.68 plus negative 113.7. Okay. 17.98. Okay, you can go. So divide by 2. So 17.98 divided by 2, 8.99. Okay. Okay, so the albums cost $8.99, $8.99. Okay, now since we don't have anything together there, I need to put $8.99 into one of the equations. So 5x plus 3y equals 32.92. So 8.99 goes in for y. Then you take 3 times 8.99, 26.97. Okay. So 5x plus 26.97 equals 32.92. So then we minus 26.97. So 5x equals 32.92 minus 26.97 is 5.95. Then I divide each side by 5. And 5.95 divided by 5 is 1.19. Okay, so the x's are $1.19 a piece. Okay. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, next problem. A test has 20 questions worth 100 points. The test contains true-false questions worth 3 points each and multiple choice questions worth 11 points each. How many of each type of question were on the test? So we need to find the multiple choice questions. And then the true, false questions. Now this is going to be a little confusing because we're used to having money, and money's got nothing to do with this problem. Okay? So we put together how many units per unit in total, but we're not going to put a dollar sign because dollars doesn't have anything. My 3 units are points, true, false, and multiple choice. So multiple choice and true, false are the 2 independent units. And then points, instead of dollars, we're going to put points total and points per unit. So your total points together are 100. Now find me a unit that has nothing to do with points. Okay? 20. 20 is not points. It has 20 questions, but that's together, so that would be an X and a Y. Now I look for point amounts. I already got 100 down. 3 points, that's for true, false. and then multiple choice is 11, okay? So we're going to take x times 11, which is 11x, and then we're going to take y times 3, which is 3y. Okay, so that's two equations. Okay, so x plus y equals 20. In the bottom, you're going to have 11x plus 3y equals 100. Now I solve it by elimination. 12x and 4y, that's not going to work. So times 11 times 1. So I times the rest of this by 1 and the rest of this by 11. Or shoot, rest of this times 11 and the rest of this by 1, I'm sorry. Okay, so 11 times 1x is 11x. 11 times 1y is 11y. Then 11 times 20 is 220. Then you're going to get 11x plus 3y and 100. Okay, then I add, that's going to be 0x, it's going to be 8y, 220 plus negative 100 is going to be 120. So 0x takes that out, then I divide by 8, 120 divided by 8 is 15, okay? So y is 15. So what is y? Y is the number of true-false questions. Now on a story problem, if you have just found the answer and you know it together, you can subtract to get the other answer, it'd be 5, because 5 plus 15 is 20, okay? Or you can put it in, but you're kind of wasting time. Okay, finally, last problem from this marathon video. Per party, you can buy either small pizzas or large pizzas. One group buys 5 small and 6 large pizzas for $116.95. Another group buys 3 small pizzas and 3 large pizzas for $62.97. Find the cost of an individual small pizza, the cost of an individual large pizza. Alright, so we are finding the small pizza cost and the large pizza cost. So small pizza and then large pizza. Okay, so together, how many units per unit and total? Okay. Alright, so small pizzas and large pizzas are my two like that. And then you have dollars again. So dollars, we're back to what we're comfortable with. So there's $2 totals. There's a 116.95. But then there's another total of $62.97. Okay. All right. So what do we got for non-money numbers? Well, a lot of them. 5 small, 6 large, and then the second group, 3 small and 3 large. So that makes 11. That makes 8. Don't need this. So we don't have any more values. So these are the unknowns. So this would be x and this would be y. Got to pick different variables, so you're going to need the cross later. Okay, so I take 5 times x and 3 times x. That could be expressed as 5x and 3x. Then, I'm not a genius, but I think that can be expressed as 6y and 3y. So we have 5x plus 6y equals 116.95. And then 3x plus 3y equals 62.97. Okay? Okay, you need to times, so times 3 times 5. Okay, then you go from there. So 3 times 5x is 15x. 3 times 6y is 18y. And I get on a calculator and I take 3 times 116.95 and I get 350.85. Okay, then the bottom you're going to get 15x plus 15y. Then I take 62.97 times 5 and it's going to be 314.85. Okay, add. Remember, you're not going to get 0 like you want unless you make it negative. And the rest of that equation goes negative. So 18 and negative 15 add up to 3y. Then I take 350.85 plus negative 314.85 and I get 36 even. So he can go 3 times y equals 36, so we divide by 3, and y equals 12, because 3 times 12 is 36. Okay, so the large pizzas are 12, okay? Then, unfortunately, you don't know that have a together amount where you can just take that minus 12, so you have to plug it into one of the two equations. So we'll use the original, 5x plus 6y equals 116.95. That's a 6 there. 12 goes for y. And 6 times 12 gives us 72. So now the equation, we have 5x plus 72 equals 116.95. So minus 72. $44.95. Finally divide by 5 and we have our answer. $8.99. So finally we got it. You can go back to your table and put those in there so it's complete. And it's all been solved, okay?